welcome to Divine Battleground. It's been a while since we've been here, but we're back. Got some new exciting stuff going on. We're going to be doing some comparisons in the future. Some which would you rather do? Like we're gonna make this fun. How we doing tonight, Brandon?
It's a long day. Very, 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 very long day. But it's better now.
Yeah, I was off today, so it was pretty nice. My wife was off too, so I got to spend all day with her. That's a really good day. Like we got to do a bunch of stuff. Went to my sister's 51st birthday party.
What?
Of course, I took a picture of the whole family eating, and I put on Facebook, "Happy 75th birthday."
Oops.
Oops.
That's all
It was funny. My mom put on there. My mom's like, "How old would that make you?" And I was like,
Oof.
"Younger than the rest of you." So my sister is 51, not 75.
Oof.
So I forgot to share this to my main page. I'm gonna do that real quick. Like I like everybody to hear our stories and all that. So it's just funny. It's been a good day. Went and ate some Mexican. My wife and I we split two. We like to sometimes get two things and then split them half and half. It's just
Where y'all can both try it.
Yeah, and we got some Mexican barbecue nachos.
Was it good?
Yes, bro, man. Gosh, man, they were some of the best nachos I've ever eaten in my life.
I
And,
mess with nachos.
Yeah, me too. I love it.
That's probably why I'm a little heavier. I'm at my heaviest right now because I like that too much.
Hey, look, man, nothing like a good nachos. Like if you get a really good nacho, like we have this Mexican restaurant around our house called Blue Toluca.
Mm-hmm.
They do this nachos del mar, which is seafood, and has these big, delicious shrimp on there, scallops, which is my favorite. It's got a piece of fish that's like this big on the top, the white cheese, peppers, onions. It's amazing.
Sounds like a lot going on.
Yeah, I don't care. I like having a lot of flavors in mine. Like I like the jambalayas, and at Thanksgiving I like to mix all my food and eat it. Like I like that kind of stuff.
But that food, the Thanksgiving food, all goes good together. You can put about 4 things in one, and it'll taste okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love Thanksgiving. We generally do a Thanksgiving meal like 2-3 times a year.
See, like, and I'm like that. Like, she makes a green bean casserole with this nice crust on top. And I'd be like, man, like, you need to make. She's like, no, it's not Thanksgiving. I'm like, dude, I don't give a damn. Like, I kind of like, come on, man, spread the. And she made one like a month or so ago without the top. And I'm like, thank you. I said, was that hard? That wasn't that bad. Let me enjoy it. Let me enjoy that a little bit. One time is not enough.
I like green beans, but I am not the biggest fan of green bean casserole. Like,
it hurts, bro. It would make you change your mind, bro.
I've had some I like, don't get me wrong, but like when it comes to just green beans, like I love green beans, bro. Like I just like give me a pot of green beans, like put some butter to melt inside of them. Just I eat them like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? No, I do not like cranberry sauce. AC.
He likes cranberry sauce, and then he likes yogurt too.
Yeah, I need neither of those things. Like those are two of the worst foods ever. And
I thought about you the other day. A guy I work with, my boss, he stocks the fridge with like random stuff, and he puts yogurt in there. And the guy I work with eats yogurt, and I seen him grab a cup out and he started to eat. I thought about needless to say, I had a good laugh.
Yeah, I would have been rolling. If you could have been there that day, man, that was great. To everybody tuning in right now, this is a Divine Battleground, a Jesus-centered show about faith. But we came to the conclusion, Brandon and I, because we've kind of rebranded this and started over, that we are going to be real serious, because like it is real serious, the afterlife and the judgment, but we want to have a little fun. We want to bring people back. I was thinking if you just want to hear people talk about this and that, and like you could go to church, right? So we're gonna have a little fun. That's why we're talking about food. God provides all the food we talked about. I love God, Jesus. Jesus is everything to me. But like, unless He hands it to me personally, I'm not eating no yogurt or cranberries.
He's like, you have to, and they're like, okay, I'll make an exception.
Yeah. If the Lord hands it to me, I'm
It's
finna eat it.
tainted. It's tainted for you otherwise.
That's right. But outside of that, I ain't eating that stuff. I'm not a picky eater either. So
No, me neither.
like, I'll eat almost anything.
I always try. So I'll try almost everything once, depending on what it is.
Yeah, me too, for sure. I like frog legs.
Oh, that's chicken, bro. She don't really mess with that. I mess with frog legs, so I like that.
I like frog legs too. I love them. We made ribs last night. We had I grilled some ribs and some chicken wings last night, and we had some grilled corn. I did mine garlic butter corn, which is really good if you've never had it, guys. Amazing. And some baked beans. We put a little butter in it and something else, barbecue sauce. It was really good.
That sounds like a pretty good meal.
Yeah, man, it was great. I love ribs, man. Ribs are my favorite. I'm really thankful to Jesus right now when it comes to food, because the old law was like, you can't eat anything. And then Jesus came and he's like, not what goes in your mouth that defiles you. Eat anything you want as long as you're good with it. It's what comes out of your mouth that defiles you. So he changed the law. I'll open this for you. He changed the law, and I'm grateful because I love shrimp. And shrimp was on the naughty list in the book.
Not the naughty list.
It was on the naughty list, bro.
But now it's like oh, that is like that, but also just not to be a glut, because there are times that, like, man, I'd be wanting to eat and I'm like, damn, that's really gluttonous, bro. Like, I shouldn't be like, I think that's something I struggle with sometimes. I know it's not good.
And I'm not, this is just my open interpretation of gluttony, right? I don't think it's gluttonous to eat a lot at once. Like, okay, yeah, probably shouldn't have 5 ribs, but I'm going to because I'm enjoying this. I think
just eating it, just like not even eating it because you're hungry, but just eating it like just purposely overstuffing yourself. I think
correct. I think that's gluttony, where like, you know, you're eating like 5 meals a day, eating like dozens of donuts in between it, because you know that's gluttony.
Say you're a cop without saying you're a cop.
Right. Right. But that to me is gluttony. Like, eating a large meal is not gluttony, because if you look in the Bible, man, they ate large meals all the time.
Oh man, like when they had like celebrations at weddings and stuff, dude, they freaking they had their wine and they had like big feasts and stuff like that.
Correct. So I don't think eating a large meal is gluttony at all. I think constantly eating just for the sake of eating, like you said, is gluttony.
And I think people kind of fall into that too. Like, especially, I think I kind of do it. And she says she does it. Like, when you got a lot going on, you're stressed out. And some people stress eat.
Right.
And they're just eating and eating. Because I'll catch myself doing that sometimes. I'll be like, yeah, I'm hungry. Or like, I'll eat breakfast, for instance, and before I get to work. And then we'll go and stop somewhere. I'll be like, I really don't have to eat something, but I'm going to eat something. That's kind of like what I feel like I'll be doing sometimes.
Yeah, but once again, I put over there, buddy. I still don't really see that as gluttony. So, like, if you've eaten and somebody stops at, like, say, Dunkin' Donuts, get a coffee, well, heck, I'm gonna have me a donut. Why not? I don't find that gluttony. But like, if you just eaten a full huge breakfast and your buddy stopped to get a coffee, you're like, yeah, I'll take 12. I'll take a dozen of those, and you stuff your face like that. I guess to me, that's more along the lines of when I think of gluttony. You know, if you're 700 pounds, then that's a problem. You know what I mean?
There's a reason to make shows about stuff like that.
Correct. And even worse, if people don't think that stuff matters, like almost every, you know, once every couple months anyway, I read a story about somebody on one of those shows that died because they couldn't get right. That's dangerous territory. That's why he says gluttony is a deadly sin.
Yeah.
Because it will mess you up. It's not healthy for you.
Yep.
You know, that's just how I see it now. There are some sins that are more streamlined. Obviously, some things like lust is streamlined, adultery streamlined, things like that, that that you're making a conscious effort to do it. Like then you're doing it and you're just being bad. But I don't feel like if like I've eaten dinner and there's a nutty bar, nutty buddy beside me and I eat it. I don't think that's gluttony. I mean, I don't think it's smart, but I don't think it's gluttony.
No, it's compared to if you eat the single nutty bar compared to if you eat the whole bag of the bite-sized nutty bars.
So I one night, like I'm dead serious, man. Like one night, just a couple weeks ago, I had this big box of nutty bars, and I think I ate 8 of them because they come 2 in a pack. I think I ate 4 packs. But they're so good though, man. I love them so much.
Very tempting, it seems.
So I was eating them while I was asleep, my wife said.
What?
Yeah, she's right here. She can attest. Apparently, I was asleep.
You were sleep eating?
I was sleep. Like I was sleep. Then all of a sudden, she said, I rolled over. She's right here. She can hear everything. Yeah. So, and then she said, I rolled over. And she said, she was sitting here playing on her phone or something.
Well, you suddenly start hearing the rapper.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said. She said, I started hearing plastic. She said, so I looked over and you were over. And she said, then I heard some chewing. And I just said to myself, oh, well.
Your eyes were closed and everything?
Yeah. This sleep. Man, I used to do it with peanut butter, bro. Let me tell you a funny story, right? So like I'm watching the camera overnight. Like I'm just watching it, see what the kids are doing, whatever. And no, I don't even think that's what it was. I was watching it for a reason. I don't remember. Anyway, I'm watching the camera, and you can watch it. It has motion, so it breaks it down to like 2-3 events a night. Go over there, buddy. I'll be ready in a minute. And so I look, and here it is 3 a.m. And here I come walking into the kitchen. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because I didn't get up that night, so I'm confused. I go into the pantry. My wife can attest this. She saw the video. I go into the pantry, pull out some peanut butter, open the jar, get me a spoon, and just sit there and eat the whole jar of peanut butter one night. Like, legit.
I didn't think that was really a thing.
Yeah, it is for sure, bro. It is. Like, I've done it. And peanut butter seems to be my weakness, bro. I love peanut butter.
It's good for protein too.
She said I just bought that jar.
She buys it, comes back out. She comes back out and the empty jar is just chilling on the counter, like what the hell?
Yeah, no, I think I even put it back up, but empty.
Well, I definitely would have got fussed for that.
Oh yeah, no, she doesn't even buy peanut butter anymore because of that, and that's been almost 2 years ago.
You keep a stash in your car or something?
Yeah, man, just sleep eating. I can't be held accountable for what I don't know I'm doing. I was like, man, like I noticed that I gained a bunch of weight in like 3 months, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, well, we go and we look back, and like I'm doing it every night. Like I'm going in there every night eating something. I mean, peanut butter, just whatever. And
so there's no recollection of these things happening.
What's that?
There's no recollection of these things happening. You don't know unless someone told you.
Right. Yeah, we our nickname is 3 a.m. Andrew. Like, I just get up and just eat, bro. So like we had to stop carrying stuff and like it was bad.
That's crazy.
And peanut butter's fattening, bro. Tons and tons of calories in peanut butter.
They got protein. I mean, you get something out of it.
I'm not saying that there's not good qualities to it. I'm just saying, like, it's
dangerous. So since there's no peanut butter, do you still do that?
No, I mean, like I did with the nutty bars, apparently.
You got peanut butter in it.
It's got peanut butter in it. That's right.
It's like the bat signal that goes off, except you're sleeping in it.
It's like, I know there's peanut butter something around here. Look, I ain't gonna lie, I love peanut butter, man. I love it. Like I will eat it out the jar with a spoon awake too. Like, don't get me twisted. I love that stuff. But the fact that I was doing it while I was sleeping became the problem.
Yeah. Especially if you clean it out a whole freaking jar in one sitting. That's insane. Golly.
I'm watching me on camera. Like, how I didn't wake up like mush mouth, I'll never know because peanut butter's sticky. But Like I never saw myself drinking nothing on camera.
Oh
So
my
literally,
gosh, how did you not die?
sticky peanut and going to
It's like a
bed.
dog eating peanut butter and hoping getting stuck in the top of their mouth.
That's right. That may have been how I realized it. I think I woke up one day. No, where's all this fucking peanut butter? Oh my goodness. Anyway,
Oh, that was good.
that's hilarious. Like gluttony is no joking matter, but I think context matters when you talk about things like this. And I don't think eating a nutty bar equates to gluttony. Like we talked about earlier, those people in the Old Testament, boy, they've been throwing down on some food.
Big old feast.
A son came home and they're like, slaughter the goats, get the best one out there, because he came home from prostitution.
Dude, just all hands on deck, bro. Everybody's going fishing, going hunting. We about to throw it down, bro.
That's right. I mean, that's a true Bible story. So, like the prodigal son, bro, he got his inheritance early. He went off and he whored and he did all these drunk, and he came back home one day to beg his dad to take him back as a field hand. His dad sees him coming. His younger brother's been there the whole time, working hard, slaving. His dad's like, kill the heifer, kill the best one we got. Let us eat. He is home. And the other brother was like, wait a minute, like you've never done this for me. And I have been here the whole time doing all this for you.
And I mean, there's important lessons just in that freaking example alone. I mean, that's what's crazy is like you wouldn't think, but when you look at it, it's like, no, but everybody looks at the dude who comes back, well, you messed up and you were doing this and that. But the other dude's sitting there holding all this envy and stuff. He's like, no, like I did this and I. And it's like, oh man.
Right. It was a good parable. It was Jesus saying, just come home and I will celebrate that. It doesn't matter what you've done. That's a parable. This was a Jesus taught parable. Like, no matter what you've done, repent and come home. And that was the point. Like, what he's saying is, I will kill this heifer for you, and we will celebrate. We will eat and drink, and we will celebrate you coming home. One of my favorite parables, by the way. Right now, I finished the New Testament because I listened to it on the way to work and home.
So you're starting back over from the beginning?
Yeah, now I'm back at the Old Testament, and
dude, you're gonna get to like First, Second Chronicles, and all these other ones, and you're gonna be like, "What are you drinking?"
Pepsi.
Okay.
And it's not even mine; it's my boys. But I don't have a water here.
Sure,
yeah, Pepsi. And I'm at Esau and Jacob now.
See, but you're in the good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all good, obviously, but you're going to get to a point, and I'm pretty sure you've read it before, like when I was going through, and I got through, and it was like, oh, we were like hitting the lineages and the measurements, and I'm like, oh my gosh, please, like, I'm not bored, but like, I'm getting bored. Can we like, just speed it up a little bit? But I don't want to skip because I feel like I'm going to miss something, so I have to endure and read it so I can understand everything else.
So that's why I listened to it, but it does get mundane when we listen to it, and like I don't mind saying that because God knows how I feel anyway, so it's not like I'm hiding something from him. But like I listened to it, like 24 cubits by Red Purple Dye by Jacob begot Esau begot, and I'm just like driving like, yay, this is my favorite part of the Bible. But no, I'm on some good stuff, you know. Jacob just traded his birthright. Well, actually, I'm past all that.
He got Esau. He tricked him to give him his birthright, which was crazy.
Correct, but I'm past all that. I've just got the part where he left his uncle after he married Rachel and Leah, and he had to leave because his uncle was gonna like try to steal from him and kill him. And then his brother sees him in the distance, and they haven't seen each other for a while. And he sent 400 armed troops. That's where I'm at currently. That's where I'll be back in the morning.
You were talking about like, who was pretty much more like a badass out of like Samson and David, but like, you know who's low key like was an OG, bro? Joshua got crap done, bro. Joshua was like murking everybody, bro. Like Joshua was like, oh, who we need to take out? Oh, I got that. Like, just freaking mowing through enemies, bro. Like, Joshua was good.
He was a warrior.
Nobody talks about that. Everybody just talks about them going around Jericho, but like that dude, like cut up, dude. Joshua cut up.
Well, he was a, you know, Joshua. So there's a saying that says, "You're not peaceful unless you're capable of great violence and choose not to be." And that was Joshua, because he was capable of great violence, but he restrained himself sometimes when needed to be. So he was a peaceful man, but when it was time for war, like everybody could get it.
But it was the same thing with David, and that's like the reason why they didn't. They couldn't make the fight like the last temple that Solomon built. They couldn't usher it in with David because David had too much blood on his hands.
Right. Yeah. The Lord said, I know you want to make this temple for me, but no, sir.
You did a little too much, bro.
You did a little. Remember when you sent your buddy to die so you could have his wife? Yeah, we remember that too.
He's like, it's gonna be all right.
It's gonna be all right.
I think the most anticlimactic thing was like the freaking Moses is sitting there for like 40 years, bro, dealing with these freaking people. They freaking whining and crying for everything, and he's just doing the right thing. And then the last opportunity to do the right thing, he freaking did the opposite. It's like, oh, well, guess what? You've been out here for 40 years, and now guess what? You're not going to get to see the promised land. I'm like, oh, dude, that's crazy.
It was.
I'm like, man, you just went and did all that just to be goofy and then, like, hit the rock when he told you not to hit the rock. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Well, look, man, Aaron, I'm not going to say I like Aaron the most, but let me explain to you why I think Aaron is the most interesting man in the Bible. So Aaron is God's mouthpiece on earth, right? Because Moses wasn't good at speaking.
Yeah, because he had a stuttering thing.
Correct. So God allowed his brother Aaron to be a mouthpiece for him, and Aaron met God, like heard God speak, right? So Moses goes up on the Temple Mount to get the 10 Commandments. Now Aaron, who not just believes but knows, he knows that God is real.
This is bad.
The people start revolting, and Aaron, who has seen God, goes, you know what? This is pretty dangerous. I might as well go ahead and build that golden calf. God will probably be all right with this. Like, bro,
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
In like instances like that, I'm like, dude, I need to see first person. Like, what is going through your head when you go to make this decision? Like, dude, there's nothing good that's gonna come from that at all. Like, dude, because Moses comes down, he's like, bro, what in the world are we doing? I leave for 5 minutes and y'all done freaking turned the table over. Like, what are we doing?
Man, y'all done melted down all your gold and made this
dude,
gold.
That's gotta be the most patient
to give you the rules.
He's gotta be the most patient guy in the Bible outside of Jesus, bro. He dealt with so freaking much. And then the one time he loses his cool, God's like, nope, you're not gonna see it.
Hey, look, but that's important lesson.
It is, because it's like no one's an exception.
Right. Just because you are a chosen one and you are out there for voice, still, I said no. I am God. So now, because of action A that you've taken, this is going to be punishment for you. And he did everything. He's the one that went to the Pharaoh. He's the one that put the plagues. He led them through the Dead Sea. Like, he did all that. He took them to the place
just to get off like that.
Yeah. And then God's like, yeah, well, I'm still gonna bring you home, bro, but you're not seeing the promised land on earth.
I'm just like, but like, the crazy thing is, like, all the stuff the Israelites are putting him through, you'd feel like after that you get your act together. But bro, it was the same cycle over. Every time they get a new king, it's like, oh, this king's good, this king dies, this king's bad, they do bad, good king, bad king, good king, bad king. And I'm like, dude, when is the cycle gonna end? And like, they get freaking taken by I don't know why I was about to say Palestinians. I don't know why I was about to say that. The freaking Babylonians freaking take over, and they freaking take them in the capture and all. I'm like, dude, like, we can't keep doing this, bro. Like, it's not worth it. Like, we doing the same thing every like 20 years. Like, why why are we doing this?
So you would think they would have learned by then, but like these are all choices that they made. So
Mm-hmm.
so life, I believe, and the Matrix said this, and it was really cool because I think the Matrix was a nod to the Bible at this part because they're like life is about choice, and that could not be more true. Life is about all the choices you make and the ultimate choice of faith or not, right? So, so when you're looking at that, like God's like, you are my people. I am going to give this to you. All you have to do is X, his people. Don't do X. Oh, okay. Well, here's a merciless bastard to rule you for the next 20 years because you don't want to listen. And then they pray, come back to the Lord. Oh, save us. This guy's so mean to us. So the Lord's like, okay, they're coming back. Cool. Here's a good person. Well, they kill the good person. And God's like, wait a minute.
And it's crazy because like even like Jesus, when he's talking to the Pharisees, he's like, dude, he's like, y'all don't want to talk about all the freaking martyrs y'all freaking killed off, but we're acting like we're so perfect, but y'all are freaking offing everybody, bro. What is going on?
Right.
Brood of vipers, bro. Like, get out.
Yeah, you brood of vibe. Hey, look,
that was an insult too. People don't realize that's like an insult. Like that's like a very blatant insult. So that was like harsh words.
So and one of my favorite characters, I see this show is much more fun already, man. I like this. Because I feel like I'm being me. Like when we were doing it before, besides that one time where like I went on like this 20-minute tirade, I do feel like that was the spirit. But like, you know, I tried to be all solemn and yeah, but like this is who God made me. So this is how I'm gonna be, right? So Paul, man, I love me some Paul. Paul's like, I'm finna kill every Christian I see.
Oh, Paul was cutting up. Saul was cutting up.
Ain't gonna do shit. Like I got y'all, Pharisees. Watch this. I'm finna kill all these people for y'all. But right in the midst of it, Jesus is like, bro, blind. All right, so now that you're gonna listen because you can't see. This like, is what you tend to do.
We're laughing. Like, you know, it was like a really serious thing.
Yeah,
but, like, in hindsight, Jesus is gonna be like, hey, look, bro, like you do what you gotta do, bro. You was doing too much. Like you was doing too much. Like, I gotta imagine, like, when he crossed over and they're sitting there and he's like, so like, why did you do that to me? He's like, dude, you were doing too much, bro. You wasn't gonna turn over to me just by doing what you was doing. You was out here wilding out. Like, you can't be killing Christians, bro. Like I had to take your sight away.
That is my favorite because like he's just walking and Jesus is like boom blind and he's like now that you'll listen and then so he goes back and like scales fall off his eyes and his eyes are open. That was a parable of rebirth. Like he opened his eyes and he's like, well, this guy seems to be real. So I guess I'm gonna go out and preach it. And then you know he got bold, bro. He was walking in Egypt being like, y'all finna all die. And he just was already
don't like the Jews. I want to know how many times dude actually got thrown in prison, bro. He was in prison like it was his house. Like that dude lived in prison. Like,
the Romans got him
by today's standards, he falls under like a stereotype because he stayed in jail, bro. But it didn't matter because the freaking shackles would fall off one day, the walls would fall down the next day. And I'm like, bro, don't y'all think y'all just stop locking this dude up? Like, stop denying that, like, there's some crazy stuff going on. And, like, it's so crazy, like, for him so being radically different because he was so smart. He was a very intellectual person. Like, because a lot of the disciples on it, they really weren't that smart. Like they were just common people, fishermen and this and that or whatever. And him, he's like ultra freaking smart. So he freaking's got this crazy way of words and a lot of people looking like, man, you done went mad, bro. You were so freaking smart and this and that. And you out here like doing all this. And I'm just like, dude was crazy, bro. Like,
dude, the God and the angels back then, and they probably still do it around the world now. We just don't hear about it. Matter of fact, I guarantee it because I hear stories. But like you take the story of Balaam, like he's riding down the road with his donkey, and the donkey stops and he starts punching the donkey like, you little bastard, you go. And the donkey sees the angel of the Lord and he's like, nah, bro. And he's just punching this donkey. And finally the donkey turns around and goes, why are you hitting me? First of all, that's it for me. I'm dropping out. I'm out.
Like a donkey starts talking, but this ain't Shrek, bro. Like, what's going on? Like,
and he's like, you wouldn't go. And then the angel appears, like reveals himself to him. He's like, oh, that's why you wouldn't go.
But dude, like, you realize how bold, like, you think people are bold now. People are bold even more then. Like, if you go back to the Sodom and Gomorrah thing, so they're freaking clearing the city out and freaking it's Lot in them, and there's the angels coming to Lot's house, and the freaking dudes are out there like, no, we're gonna raid the angels. What? You're gonna what?
We're gonna raid the visitors.
He's like, we just want to visit. No, that's not what you're here for. You're freaking wilding, dude. And freaking, and Abraham's like, well, like, if there's like, what'll make you save me? He's like, oh, if I find 100 people, okay, well, all we need goes all the way down to 1. And I'm like, dang, not even 1, dog. And he's like, oh, well, lost cause. Boom.
They made it down to 10 in the story. He's like, what if you find 50 righteous people? And God, who already knows, he's like, sure, you find 50 people, I spare. He goes, well, since I've already bothered you, how about 40? And God's like, sure, you find 40 people, no worries. What about 20? Yeah, 20. He's like, well, let me be bold one more time. What if I find 10 righteous people? Hey, if you can find 10 righteous people in this city, I won't destroy it. 24 hours later, bam, I couldn't find it.
He goes straight Thanos, like done. Yeah. And it's like, dude, like, and the crazy thing is, like, people don't believe that happened, but like, you can go there and you can literally still find pieces of sulfur, and if you put a fire to it, it freaking burns. Like, that's crazy. And that was like a city. Like, people act like, oh, this is just ruins. I'm like, no, dude, that was like a legit like city, bro. Dude just straight up burned it to the ground, bro. I'm just like, wow,
like burned it.
But like, people were so crazy because, like, okay, like, you talk about Noah, for instance, like, he's like, oh, it's gonna rain. Well, up until that point, it's never rained before, because like the way the earth was, like, it's hard to explain, but like, they didn't need rain, like, because it was perfect. They had all, like, everything was just right. So he's saying it's gonna rain. They're like, rain? Ain't no water ever dropped from the sky. What are you talking about? This dude goes on a tangent for like 100 years, like, dude, you need to get on the boat. You need to get on the boat. You need to get on the boat. No. We just gonna keep doing all this crazy stuff. And then one day, I can imagine, it's like drip, drip. Oh no!
Look, man, they were very, very bold. So like even Lot's wife, bro. So like you met some angels, like you met them personally, and they're like, this bad shit's fixing to happen. I got to get you out. So you're going, and one of God's angels, who you are speaking to in real time, says, do not turn around and look at it. It will be, just you will, whatever. And she goes,
pillow salt.
What are you doing? Ain't no way, bro. Like,
I'm just sitting there like, God knows these things are gonna happen, and he's timeless and outside of time. But I know dudes just sitting there like, oh man, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are we doing this? Come on, man. Like, I'm waiting for you to just to come. Like, why are we doing this?
Hey, the Bible says many times about God's frustration with people. He's like, I've given you everything. What is the problem? And
like, for real though,
he gave everybody free will, and I know why he did. It's like, hey, this is your choice. You can choose to love or not, or whatever you want to do, man. Like, I'm gonna give you, but I'm telling you, there's consequences at the end of life. Like, choice A or choice B, heaven or hell. Like, but you're more than welcome to do whatever you want to do. But I'm telling you, if you do right, like, you get to come home and be with us and nice, and everything's pretty up here. There's no sickness. There's no getting old. And people are like, but I could do kind of sort of this stuff. And he's like, he is.
Y'all being bold for the wrong reasons, bro. Like, be bold for the right reasons. Don't be doing all this crazy stuff. Like,
yeah, it's great. People in the Bible are great, man. And
You know who
Like,
one of my favorite people is though? Joseph.
which one?
The OG Joseph with the coat of many colors Joseph. That Joseph was a
Yes.
like to go through all that and to freaking get to Potiphar's house and say, okay, I got a good setup. You know, I'm working, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then she's like throwing herself at him. He's like, no. And she's like, what you mean, no? Nobody tells me no. And he's like, nah, I'm running. Like I'm shagging. And she's like, okay, well, he was coming on to me. What?
Yeah.
You low down dirty girl. You sitting
He
there
snatched
lying.
his cloak. Yeah, and held
Oh
his
my
cloak.
gosh. But for him to go through all that and to end up being literally in charge of almost dang near everything was crazy. And for him, because he could have been like, when he seen his brothers, he could have been like, nah, you can screw off. Like, no. But he didn't do that. So that's very commendable.
So it is commendable. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, they didn't know who he was. And he chose to just to fuck with him, to be honest with you. He's like, all right.
He had to get a laugh. He had to get a laugh out of it.
y'all are spies coming to see how weak we are. And they're like, no, bro, we're starving. Nah, y'all spies. Yeah, I know you are. And
I'm
then he's
taking
like,
the younger one.
yeah, he's like, all right, so I keep one of y'all in prison. Go get your younger brother. If what you're saying is true, you'll bring him back. And then when you come back, I see your younger brother, I will know that you're telling the truth. Well, they get halfway down the road, open their sacks, and the money's back in there that they paid him and the grain. And they're like, oh, shit. I love it, man. He was an OG for real, man. He messed with them over and over and over. And eventually at the end, he's like, hey, it's me. I love y'all. I'm running Egypt now. Go take
And
care
they're
of
like, dude, like what?
Yeah.
Like, you survived? What?
Yeah, well, you threw me in a well, got me out of the well because you didn't have the stomach to
took
do
me
the
out of
job.
the well to freaking sell
Sold
me
me
off
to
to
some
someone.
people.
Then
And
to
now I'm rich
lie.
even.
Then you lie and put animal blood on my jacket so my dad thinks I'm dead. So now my dad is like eternally traumatized.
Oh yeah, murdered a goat, dipped
And
his
like,
cloak in the goat blood.
and I'm like, dude, I need to know how that conversation went. Because when the dad finds out he's not dead, I gotta imagine he's like, so like, why did you do this to me?
Right.
Why did you lie? And like, why did you cause me so much heartbreak for like no reason? Oh, because you was peanut butter and jealous. Like,
And what was his name? Oh God, the one that told them not to do it and was gonna come back and get him out of the well later and take him to their dad. Started with an R.
Is it not Rufus? It's
No.
oh, what is his freaking name? Oh,
anyway, hold on one second.
I know it. I just can't put my finger on it.
Reuben. So
yeah,
Reuben,
that's what it was.
So Reuben's like, hey, instead of killing him, let's just throw him in the empty well. And then he was plotting in his head, I'll come back later, get him out, take him to his dad so he'll be safe. Well, he leaves because he's going to come back later, comes back, and the well's empty. He's like, oh, my God, where the fuck is he? And then they're like, oh, by the way, we sold him. So when they go back, and he's like, you guys are spies trying to see how we were, and they don't know he can speak their language. So he's telling them, I told you not to sin against the boy. I told you. Now look at us. Now we finna die.
Now we're screwed because y'all wanted to freaking play games.
I love it. Man, the Bible was brutal, bro. Like people, but this is how people really are, though. Like these, I mean, even to this day, even though you'd have to change around for technology and new age and all that, people are still this way.
Like, yeah, people still think the same. People are still wired the same way. It's just the environment and the circumstances are different.
Yes, for sure. I mean, I don't know. I look at. All right, so if you look at the God of the Old Testament, right? Like he wasn't playing around. Like he's pissed.
Jesus wasn't playing, bro.
Right. He is pissed off. Like he's smoting entire cities. He's flooded the whole earth. He's like, what's it going to take for you to get right? And he spared Noah and his family because Jesus is up there going, hey, give him a chance, because like that's how Jesus is. That's what he was saying. Like, give him a chance, give him another chance. And he flooded the earth and come back, and we fast forward 1,000 years later, and you still got all these bad things, and eventually Jesus is like, I gotta go. Like, I will go defeat sin. I will go down there. I will defeat sin personally. Send me down there. and I will die for their sins. So Jesus gets here doing the most noble thing ever. By the way, he's God. He's God, by the way. And he's like, I will go down to earth. I will lead a ministry. I will teach people the truth. I will take their sin from them, and I will take it on me, so that way they can go to heaven through me. All they have to do is believe, because nobody's good enough to follow the law and get into heaven. Like, it just can't happen. So this is how I'm going to go impact that. I'm going to go defeat death. I'm going to do it for them. Jesus comes here to die for everybody, performs miracles in front of people, religious people, the Pharisees, the religious leaders of the day, and they watch him do these miracles, like heal the blind, heal the lame, and they go, you know what? He can do that because he is Satan. Like, what are you talking about, bro?
You cast out demons with demons. What? How you cast out demons with demons? Yeah. And then you're talking about how God cut up in the Old Testament, and Jesus walks in and they freaking selling stuff. Dude comes in there and freaking starts flipping tables and cutting up. Everyone's like, whoa, whoa. He's like, nah, like y'all don't do this in here. Like, oh my gosh. Like,
so even deeper into that story. So Jesus goes into town and goes straight to the temple. Assesses, looks around, looks at the temple, goes back to a local city and goes home, because that's where he sleeps. Meditates on it all night long, what he saw, with righteous anger. Gets up the next day, goes back and says, you know what? No! Like, flips over the table.
Everybody's like, whoa.
Yeah. He's like,
you don't do this here.
Yeah, you've got some glorified flea market in my father's house. No. And like, man, he's beating people with whips. He's flipping money changing counters over. I mean, like
ass whooping.
Like, that's gangster Jesus right there. No disrespect, but like, that's what that is. Like, he come in there and he's like, absolutely not. He's like, I'm down here and I put up, because he had put up with a lot of shit. People trying to kill him, watching people kill him, like bringing sinners to him and cleansing their sins, knowing how dirty they were, knowing prostitutes and murderers and all these terrible things. And he brought them to him, and they followed him, became part of his ministry. But you know what was too much for Jesus? Fleecing God's people. Like you're in here and you're stealing from God's people, and you're telling them that you have to buy my specific goat because yours ain't good enough, and you're trying to turn a profit off of my father.
No, you're gonna turn a profit in the courtyard. Like, what?
Yeah,
that's the wrong place, dude. And you see the same things today. It's literally, you go to some of these newer age churches and stuff, and it's like, you walk in and it's like, there's a coffee stand and there's t-shirts and there's this and there's that. And it's like, it's literally the same thing playing out in modern time. That's literally the exact same song and dance.
It's really, really, like, so if you look at it, like, I just kind of want to drive this point home. So, like, Jesus can be with sexual sinners, and he can be with murderers and thieves and tax collectors. And that doesn't sound too bad, but back in the day, tax collectors were considered a form of life.
If you were a tax collector, like if you were a Jew and you were a tax collector, like, you're disowned. Bro, they look at you like the scum of the earth, because pretty much like you're like doing your freaking own people dirty.
Right, like, and give it to the Romans. Right.
Yep.
And so he has all these detestable people with these detestable sins, like, with him, like, in his ministry. Like, he's forgiven them and they've become good people, and now they're going with him to spread the word. But what he wouldn't tolerate was walking into his father's house and seeing people actively sinning and fleecing God's people in the, like, that should tell you something right there. Like, all these people that go into church and say, you can sin all you want. Sin is okay. Jesus loves you, and you just be the best sinner you can be. So that's what's not going to be forgiven. Like, you don't understand. Like, that's not, it's better for you to tie a millstone around your neck and jump into the sea. Don't get it twisted. If you start leading God's people astray with some false doctrine, God says there's special places in hell for you on that, which would lead me to believe that hell has different levels. I don't want to see any of them, but it would lead me to believe, like, based on your life, your punishment level will be A, B, C, D, E, or whatever, right?
That's what I've heard, at least from people who have had, like, you kind of have to take some of them with a grain of salt, but you listen to some of these, like, near-death experiences and stuff, And some of them I just feel like you can't deny. Like the details are just too. And obviously, you know, you can get fooled, but
Yeah.
like God allows you to see some things. And like I would never want to see some of the things I've heard people seeing. Like it's crazy. Like it's real life crazy.
Well, it is real life crazy because if he, here's what I think, and I'm probably going to take a lot of heat and shit for this, but I do not care. These pastors, because ain't nobody hiding from this truth. These pastors that are in these churches with these transphobic, not transphobic, transgender flags and saying that it's okay to do this when I can read in scripture that a man should not wear women's clothing, right? Like I can read it. And you're allowed to do whatever you want to do, like you are free to do whatever you want to do. That is biblical, right? You can do whatever you want. It's your choice. So it is what it is. But you're telling people that Jesus says this is okay. Well, now we're in line with the real problem, because if you start like steering God's people into sin, that is the worst thing that you can do. It is worse than murder. It is worse than prostitution. It is worse than anything. And Jesus's ministry, he's out there with Mary Magdalene and people that murder people. And he took Paul, who was killing literal Christians, killing them, martyring them. And he used them, but he won't use you. Man, those people are demons, Brandon. I don't think they're people. I think they're literal demons. I think that's what they are.
Well, I mean, when you're in the opposite space to what you need to be, you're open to being like manipulated and led to do things like that. Now, I'm not gonna say specific names because I'm not gonna try to bash anybody, but you have a lot of these mainstream guys that it's all about either the notoriety or it's about the money or it's about the fame or it's how many books you can sell and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, that's all fine and dandy, but like either one of two things. Either you don't believe this stuff is real and
Right.
you're just mooching off of people, which if none of this is real, then none of it matters anyway. Or you believe it's real, but you feel like you, I guess, have a get out of jail free card or some way out of it, or you've been fooled to believe that you can do all this, but you won't experience what everybody knows you're gonna experience. And it's like, dude, like that's. I watched a guy, and we were talking about near death experiences. A guy who he was bad on drugs. He was like living a really bad life, and God showed him like one of those instances, like where he kind of allowed him to feel that, and he didn't find out any of the stuff after. He's watching this guy preaching to these people, and the guy's preaching, and everybody who's listening, he's like, no, he's like, you're the reason we're here. You freaking lied to us, and you manipulated us, and now we're stuck here because you lied to us. Da-da-da-da. And a lot of people, I doubt many Mormons are watching this, but like he later found out that was what is his freaking name? Joseph Smith, which is like the founder of Mormonism. And that's crazy because he had, and a lot of people are like, oh, dude had no idea who that was, no preconceived notions, nothing. So like, if that's legit, which I believe it's legit, that's a serious thing, bro. And to be like, you did all that and you're still doing it, like you can't even stop it. Like you're literally doing what you were doing before, and you can't stop because you have to literally live it and live it and live it and live it. And it's just like, man.
Joseph Smith, bro. So I don't, and I'm not making fun of anybody, right? But I'm looking at Mormonism, right? And this is in the Book of Mormon, so like I'm not like being disrespectful or nothing. So Joseph Smith goes to the church elders or whatever it was, and he goes, "I found this stone tablet."
Yeah,
and
he found two gold tablets that the angels had showed him.
Right, and he looked through rocks, and that's how he interpreted it. So he wrote down this doctrine, and one of the members of the church were like, yeah, this don't seem right. I'm going to burn this before this causes trouble. And if God showed it to you, he'll show it to you again, is what he said. So then Joseph Smith goes and he writes another one. He goes, I couldn't make it exactly like it was because you made God mad. So he changed the words in it. But here's the new doctrine. And I'm just, and like, they're just believing this. And I just, call me a skeptic, right? But Brandon, if you say I know XYZ, here's the paper, I throw the paper away and says, show me XYZ again, write it down for me again. You can't write it down again. Well, then you're lying to me. That's just
There's
how I feel.
And in regards to that, there's a cool documentary. I can send it to you. It's about that. And there's this guy. I don't know if you watch him, but this guy on YouTube. He's an Expedition Bible. He's written books and he does like all the cool archaeological things to prove that like everything's true. And he was talking to this guy who is a Latter-day Saint, which is they don't really go by Mormon anymore. But there's a thing in Deuteronomy. It's how you can test a prophet to see if it's a legit thing or not. So it's like you go through these steps and it's like, oh, well, if someone predicts this, if it doesn't come into fruition, like that automatically kills. Like if someone's a true prophet, then everything they say will come like to pass. There won't be any illegitimacy or whatever.
Right.
And like he literally killed the whole freaking religion on top of itself. And it's like Paul, I think it was Paul, in one of the New Testament books is pretty much like if someone comes to you with something that is any different than this, let them be accursed because you're going against. But see, people they try to say it's been corrupted and stuff, so they have the excuse like, well, it got corrupted, so this is the revised version, which is literally kind of what he did and a lot of other religions did. But when you go back and read, I don't know how much you like read or pay attention to, but like if you go back to like a lot of the manuscripts and stuff, like the Dead Sea Scrolls and things like that, and you match it up with what we have nowadays, it's literally the same. Like very minute differences, like different words, but they all mean the same things. So for people to go on a tangent and be like, oh, it got corrupted, so I have the right version. When somebody tells me that I have the right version, like I'm not just gonna, just like you said, I'm not just gonna buy it off a silver platter. Like you gotta show me something. Like I'm not just gonna be like, oh, you're true, you're true. No, I'm not stupid. And the sad thing is just a lot of people don't think like that because people want a set of rules to follow so they can follow the rules and then be good. But it's not, it's obviously not about that,
Well, you look, yeah, it says if any man changes a word in these scriptures, he will be cursed. And that goes to a deeper level of hell. That's another clue to what I was saying earlier, that hell will have different levels. But if you go and you're reading the scriptures, right? And I'm listening to them mostly because I don't like to read, so I listen to it. And like you can feel, you can feel it, right? So like, yeah, it. If anybody were to come to me, okay, look, so I found this scroll and it's 8,000 years old, and it says this is okay. So like the Bible's completely wrong now. Okay, well, so you're going to go to that special place in hell. Why don't you just go tell somebody else this bullshit that you found? And but it's crazy because they trick so many people, and yeah, you leading people into sin. That's why you're going to have a special in hell. But these people that come out and they're like, okay, so this is the new version, and it says XYZ is okay. Well, like I'm going to believe this because that correlates with my sin and what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So, they're like, I'm going to believe it because it codifies all the things that I want. And, and that's crazy talk to me. I mean, like everything is not permitted. It's just not the way it is. And even if you look at earthly laws, let's just take earthly laws, right? You can't go out there and just murder people. Like they will come get you.
This is not the purge. You can't do whatever you want.
Right. So that should tell you there that laws exist and they're real.
But that's just the law written on your heart. That's just your conscience. You just know like what's right and wrong. Like,
right. Correct.
You don't have to be going into somebody and stealing their lunch money. Like, come on, man. You can't steal.
Right.
You can't kill people. You can't freaking go sleeping with people's wives. Like, you can't. Like, come on, man. Like, it's black or white, bro. It ain't rocket science.
No, it's pretty simplified actually at that point. Mm-hmm. But people they want to do what they want to do and they don't want to feel bad about it, right? And it's even worse for those people because the Bible warns about it. Those of you who know and still choose are amongst the worst accursed people that there's going to be, because now you have knowledge. Because he says if you don't know and you do these things, I will be lenient on you. But if you do know, if you have heard the word and you know this and you still choose to do this, well, that's a problem, is what he's saying. right? He's like, now it's a problem because you know. And are you going to sin? Yes, you are every day. But what you've got to realize is it's willful indulgence into the sin. That's the problem, right? Your sin was forgiven 2,000 years ago. You really don't have to worry about your sin. Um, and as funny as that sounds, let me tell you what I mean. So Jesus died on the cross 2,000 years ago. Your sin was defeated and forgiven in that moment. Every sin you've ever done, are doing now, or ever will do, will be forgiven. Is already forgiven. So that's not what you're looking for. So what he's looking for is faith. And what comes with faith is like, you can't do that. You know it's wrong. Okay, I'm going to stop because I know it's wrong. I'll start doing other stuff. That's okay. Like that sin right there is built in you. And God said, well, that you're learning as you go. Like you're not accountable for that sin. You sinned, the Holy Spirit convicted you, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go away from this, right? So, and willful indulgence is like you go and you sleep with another man's wife, right? And the Holy Spirit comes to you, is like, no, bro, you know that's wrong, knock it off. And you just continuously do it. You make it a point to go continuously do these things because you love that sin. Well, that's the problem right there. That's not repentance. That's not true faith. That's what people don't understand. It's not true faith, because if you had true faith of what Jesus is, you would stop. And it's hard. Like, don't get me wrong, it's really, really hard to stop doing something you love. Something that you love, it's hard to stop doing. Like,
Even if you know it's like horribly wrong.
right. Like I love to watch sports, right? I take that as an example. And let's just say like I got convicted in my heart. Like, sports are bad, you better stop that. And I'm sitting here going, man, I don't know, man. Like, and now I'm
Now you question it.
now I'm what do you call that? Bargaining in my head.
Trying to
Well,
negotiate.
negotiating, right? Well, that can't be. I'm. This is crazy talk because there's nothing wrong with sports, and since I know nothing's wrong with sports, this conviction that I'm feeling is fake. You know what I mean? And then you
Mhm.
continue to do it because you made
Trying
yourself
to
feel
trying to validate what you want to do.
correct. And you know that's that's man's greatest strength and his weakness at the same time too. Knowing right from wrong is the greatest strength that you have, because that's faith that'll get you to faith. But also knowing right from wrong and doing things that you like even though you know they're wrong, that's hard to stop. you know um like Paul, and let's take a bad one. Let's take murder, because Paul was out there enjoying murdering these Christians. Like I mean, he said that he was having fun doing it. And
That's pretty crazy if you'd hear someone say that nowadays.
yeah,
Think how crazy you look at somebody now.
right.
Like
If they said
what?
they enjoyed killing Christians, like it was fun, you would look at them crazy. But in the midst of that, he wasn't going to stop. He knew it was wrong, because even if he wasn't a Christian yet, which he wasn't, he was still under the old Jewish law. And the old Jewish law says murder was wrong. So he knew it was wrong, but he was taking pleasure in
He
murdering
was
people.
he was trying to use his platform, or like his religion, I guess you could say, to validate, like, no, they're going against it and da 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 da, so it's okay for me to, because in the rabbinic law it's like, oh well, blasphemy and this and that, like I can stone people and I can kill people, and using those things to justify what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. About trying to validate it.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to give validity to the fact that
You
I
out
like to
here
murder people.
massacring people.
Right. So since I like murdering people, I will take a part of the law that allows me to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And in the midst of that, Jesus finally, like we said, blinded him and said, "Hey, bro, enough's enough. Like,
You're
like
doing too much, bro.
not only have you gone too far, I'm about to use you for good at this point."
And the crazy thing is, like, how he stops and he asks me, he's like, hey, like, why are you killing me? Why are you persecuting me? He's like, wait, what?
Who are
Like, wait,
you?
what am I doing? Wait, why are you here? You're not supposed to be here. You're just this and that. And he's like, no. He's like, why are you persecuting me? Why are you doing it? And the realization, he's just like, oh. He's like, nope, blind.
Yes,
He's
I
like, now you
listen.
realize it, but you're blind.
Yeah, and you know that not only is that a true story, but that is a great metaphor as well, because you were blind, but now you see.
Mhm.
And that's what it was a metaphor for. This guy who was this despicable, murdering piece of garbage, persecuting God's people. In the midst of it, God could use him. God's like, okay, well, he is somebody. He's made himself somebody. So now I'm going to go to him, show him the truth, and see if he'll come to me and use him. And he did. And which any normal thinking person, if Jesus blinds you on the spot and then takes the blindness away and says and talks to you, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to do whatever you say. So that's a normal reaction.
Mm.
Definitely the kind of reaction I would have if some supernatural being were to do that to me. Okay, yeah, so I see what's going on here. What should I do? um but but he goes from the most vile person in the world to the most bold person in the world for Christ.
Mhm.
That is crazy. So if you're out there watching and you think that your life isn't worthy at this point, just go and read the story of Paul.
Yeah,
Like,
just go read Romans.
right,
Or
right.
no, it's Acts. I think it might be Acts. Because Romans is kind of like his big spill, but yeah,
Yes. Like he
yeah,
took, I mean, David was God's boy, right? Like God loved David and told him that his line would live. And Jesus was in the lineage of David as well, because his mother was in that lineage. She was a daughter of one of David's descendants, and so Jesus is in the lineage of David. That's how much God loved David, and it
hmm
was a lot. Allow him to beat a giant and become the leader of God's people, and he's out there
King.
leading wars
Yep.
and like God loved him. But David at the same time sent a buddy of his to the front lines of a war to die so he could sleep with his wife. I mean, when you're the king, all you really have to do is send him out on an assignment and then sleep with her. But the point of the story is he like you said, he read something in doctrine. Well, if this guy's dead, then she's fair game and I can do it without feeling sinful. But
He had to find a loophole or a supposed
correct.
loophole to be like, okay, I'm still gonna feel guilty, but like I'm not gonna feel as guilty, or I can try and forget about it like it's not a big deal.
Well,
But
he's
oh,
thinking in that moment he's not breaking God's law,
mhm.
because if her husband's dead, she can remarry and now she's fair game. But the despicable acts he took to it though were all, like it's just crazy. Like
You know what's crazy though is like goes through and does all that. She gets pregnant and then the kid dies. So
yeah,
that's like, and then at that point he's like, oh no, like I knew he already felt low, but that was like the one that killed the freaking camel's back, bro. Like that one's like, oh man, like I really messed up. Like he's just weeping and doing this and that. And he obviously came back from it. You know, he came back from it and got back in good standing, but like that's crazy to think about. Like that's how a sequence of events works. Like,
yes, yes. And people will do like some despicable things even to their loved one, because if you think you take the story of Isaac, Esau, and Jacob, Isaac's Isaac's on his deathbed. He doesn't see so well. He doesn't hear so well. Like he's getting bad. And his own wife was like, I like my younger son better than my older son, so I'm gonna murder this goat, put its fur on you so you feel hairy like your brother. Cook my husband's favorite meal who's about to die, and trick him into giving you the birthright, but the blessing that he's going to get. He already stole
yeah,
the birthright.
Jacob fooled Esau because he's like, oh well, I'll give you my portion of food or whatever, and then you have to give me that.
He said,
He
I'll give you
does
my
it and
soup and bread.
instantly regrets it after. He's like, what did I just and his I mean
Well, and then after his own wife tricked him to give the blessing to the younger son, that's when God looked at Esau and said, "Hey, since you so arrogantly gave away your birthright, like you didn't care anything about this birthright that I gave you, well, you can go wander for a while."
and it's
And that's
crazy.
why he allowed him to trick him.
But you see what happens, like the sequence of events that happens when people take things into their own hands. Like what was it when Abraham and them or whatever didn't then they could have a kid? So he slept with whatever, and then
The
Ishmael
handmaid.
comes out, and then he has Ishmael, and they send them off. And then when you find out, it's like, oh, you thought that was harmless or whatever, but Ishmael's lineage ends up being the whole Muslim community, and they end up being the biggest thorn in Christian, like the Jew side. Like that's pretty crazy how one decision you made like completely changed everything to where it's like that whole lineage of people are trying to murder you because of one decision that you made thousands of years ago that you thought wasn't going to be that big of a deal. Like that's crazy.
Right. So he sends his wife's handmaiden away with Ishmael. And so she gives up hope. She puts him at a tree, and then she walks 100 yards away and cries under another tree. And when the angel of the Lord, who still looks favorable upon Ishmael, told him he would make him a great nation, and he has. So he comes out and he's like, why are you leaving the boy over there? She's like, well, I don't want to watch him die. And he's like, go to the boy and comfort him. Well, as soon as she goes to the boy, she sees this spring full of cold, sparkling, clean, beautiful water. And then, the angel of the Lord, goes and takes care of him. But the point is, like, so he tells his wife, Sarah, that's your handmaiden. Do with her what you will, because he didn't want the guilt of doing it himself.
Well, yeah, because he felt horrible.
Right, because that was his son.
But in hindsight, though, she's the one who forced that issue anyway. So he kind of looked at it like, hey, like you kind of brought this all upon us. Like I did it, but you're the one who came up with all this. You need to handle it.
Correct. And like you said, that one decision, because she thought they were making fun of her son, and because that's how it went down in the Bible. She looked over and she thought that Ishmael and his mother were making fun of Isaac, and who would later be renamed, thought that they were making fun of him. So she's like, well, the other kid will not get my inheritance. And Ishmael was the older brother. So it's insane, man. You're right. How one decision, that's why you got to think, that's why the Bible tells you to pray on all decisions, because one decision could do something so large. Because Abraham and Sarah, they really weren't nobody. You know what I mean? They weren't anybody special. They were nomads moving from place to place.
Well, he had money, like he was rich, but he wasn't like anything like that.
Right. So we had no reason to believe that him and his lineage was going to be anything special. And he made it. So that could be us today. We have no idea some of the things that changed based on the decisions we have. At the same time, we have to be remained grounded in reality that, we are nobody. We're nobody special, right? That the Bible's clear about that. But at the same time, you could be somebody to the Lord, and a decision that you make could set off a chain of events that now we look at every day. We talk about the Middle East every day. We talk about Israel and Iran every day.
But that's why they can't get rid of that, because that's such a deeply rooted, like everybody thinks that they can end it. And it's like, no.
That's why you've never seen peace there, because they hate each other.
And see that, and we're kind of getting all over the place, but like that's like when you start reading in Revelation and the Antichrist comes and he fixes it. And that's why everybody's like, whoa, like you did something that nobody else could do. And everybody just falls for it. But it's fabricated, because he's like, oh, we're going to write a peace treaty. And then you're going to be able to worship how you want to worship, and they'll be able to do what they want. And then halfway through it, he's like, nah, I'm good. Now I'm going to start freaking slaughtering you because you were stupid enough to fall for it. So it's like Israel's still kind of being foolish,
The Antichrist, how close are we to the end times, man?
I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big conspiracy guy, but it's good to have an idea what's going on, because make sure you're ready and helping other people be ready. But like you see, and I don't know how you feel about like all the AI stuff, but like in Germany, they have something to where they had AI preaching a sermon or something. Yeah, and I'm like, oh no, that's not good. Like that's the beginning stages of some stuff that you read about. And It's like they're getting to the point where it's like there's like 3 tiers. So there's like the beginning stages is like the Chat GPTs and stuff like that, like the ground level stuff, and then it's like, oh, then you get it to a point where it's as smart as human. So it's like it can process and think just like we do. And then you get to the third one where it's like it's extremely smarter and it's very, very dangerous. Which when you think there's a scripture in there at the end, it's like there's gonna be a great delusion and there's gonna be something that is gonna be like an idol and people are gonna it's gonna like be able to move and it'll be alive and stuff like that. And I think about stuff like, and that could just be a misinterpretation, but like that's something that kind of clicks in my head. Like, there's a reason they're pushing a lot of these things, accelerating the process and, getting us to a point where, something could actually happen,
So, so you're right. So the Bible says in the last days that people will be lovers of themselves and to be like God.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's more being like God than creating intelligence? Like,
Creating life, I guess you could say.
yes, creating life. And AI, essentially would be life, right? A non-organic life form. So if you're creating that, then you're a lover of yourself and you're thinking of yourself as God. So I can see why you would say that because it certainly does seem to be that way.
It's like a callback.
You could say
You ever watched?
it's
It's
smart.
like a callback for me. You ever watched Jurassic Park 3?
The old ones,
Yes, the third one that came out in like '01.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I've watched all
Okay,
the
you
old.
remember? You remember when they're walking through the facility and it's all broken, they're stepping on eggshells and stuff, and they're like, "Man, like, what were they doing here?" Da-da-da. It's like this is what happens when people try to play God.
Right.
Like how everything completely went to chaos because people were trying to do things they shouldn't have been doing. That's literally what people are doing now. With they bringing back they brought back an extinct species of wolves. They're doing like all kinds of
Yeah.
crazy
A
stuff trying
dire
to.
wolf. Yeah.
Mhm.
They brought back well, they didn't bring back. They found it hidden in the permafrost and brought it back to life. Some kind of
Oh no, they literally created one.
yeah, they created the dire wolf. Yes.
Yeah,
And but that's I mean all of these are crystal clear. We're thinking about the tribulation, which you think about the rapture, and and you're like, well, the rapture hasn't happened because I still see everybody. But what if the rapture happened and just none of us were worthy? Taking some people off some island somewhere that are isolated, and this is where we see some of the cases of missing people and all that.
and
Like,
they're
what
gonna try
if?
to justify and see. You notice like, and I'm not trying to get off topic, but like I like to think like I try to put pieces together to make something that makes sense. And you think about so something like that happens. So say tomorrow, me and you wake up, and whether we're gone or not, like 1 million, 2 million, however many people just up and disappear. Well, the media and the government have to find a way to justify that because obviously people are going to panic because there's no viable option to be like, oh, well, that's what happened. They've been pushing all the things with like extraterrestrials and stuff like that. That's the
Right.
perfect excuse. So people will stay grounded and not panic and lose their mind. And then when somebody comes in to save the day, they're just going to buy into it because they're like, well, all these people disappeared. Like, we need something to grasp onto because, like, what in the world is going on?
Well, it would be a perfect cover because if you've noticed, the government right before or right after Trump took office, remember they came out and they're like, you had high level generals and people in Congress testifying, hey, UFOs are real. Like these are real. These are real things. They are not from this world and they are here. Right? What better way than to start soft like that? Like
You have
you
to
were
justify it to make
start
it. You have to legitimize it. Yeah.
well, and then like, all right, so say they do that, the rapture happens, like you said, billion people disappear, and they have to justify it, and then they put on TV something that they aired in 2023 where they could be like, yeah, we knew aliens were here. We kind of told you that. We didn't want y'all to panic. We wanted y'all to know, but didn't want y'all to panic in case nothing happened. Well, something has happened, and we already had told you in the past that it was real, and so yeah, the aliens took people.
Mm-hmm.
And not only would that quintessentially cause a major, massive panic, but at the same time, it would be easy to get them to do whatever you wanted them to do.
Well, yeah, because people who are weak minded, and it goes into like people with religion I was talking about earlier, was like people don't understand the relationship portion. They just want a set of rules and just get told what to do. So when most people are wired or programmed to be like, I just need to know what to do, and something like that happens, yeah, if there's a flashy new toy or a new person that pops up and says, I have the answer, and things start changing and they're fixing this and that, well, more people than not, like, they're gonna look at it and be like, well, hey, I have no better options. All this crazy stuff happens. I'm all in, and I believe. And then, obviously you fall for it.
So yeah, for sure. It was, imagine a world where you wake up one day and these people are gone, right?
Or you just walking, working, and people just up and disappear.
Right. They go. And say the government comes out and tells you extraterrestrials took them, and now you have AI. So you could easily make the videos of them coming into space, because you can't see in space. Easily make the videos of them coming in, and it shows lights like beaming up to their ships and then them flying off. They can make it, and nobody would be any the wiser. I could probably make it with AI right now, to be honest with you, on the AI that I have. So if we have this AI, imagine the AI that the government has. So they could easily fall for that. It would look really, really real. Because like I see some of these AI people, like you, if I did not know, I would not know it was AI. That's scary. But when something like that happens, and then you have believers like us, and then you got 99.9% of the world like, yeah, I saw it. It was aliens. So now we need to be worried about aliens. And then you got people like me and you, and we're like, we know what happened. And now we're in real dangerous territory, because at that point, we have to start preaching the truth even louder. Hey, this is not aliens. Like, this is God. And of course, the government's going to want to quickly, because the satanic governments are going to want to quickly extinguish those noises, so they're going to come after you, and it just becomes real dangerous times. I don't know, man, but that's what would have to happen if you were one of the people left behind and you were one of God's people. You have to start testifying.
And there's a lot of debate too, because I'm not gonna say it's fog and mirrors, but like people don't know whether if there's a rapture, whether it be like pre-trib, middle, or after. Now, me personally, it makes most sense based on what I've read to be before, because he's going to spare you from what is to come. But if that's not the case, then that's pretty crazy. Like, yeah, that's pretty crazy.
It's super crazy. But I think it says, and I'll go back and I'll listen to it and read it again, because I don't want to mislead anybody. But I think it says some people will be left here, some of God's people, to fight the good fight. And then you have to decide whether you want to take the mark of the beast and stuff like that. So I think some of us will be left here, and I think with that moment, in that moment, what they're going to want is God is going to want you to preach, like,
well,
hey,
it's the same thing. It's the same thing what happened in the first century. It was spreading like wildfire, and they were freaking trying to they were trying to, like you said, extinguish it, but they couldn't extinguish it because you can't kill you. They'll never be able to kill it completely. But there's always going to be somebody. So it would literally be a reenactment of them, except at a bigger scale.
Right. And then imagine, like, you live in a post-rapture world, and and so now you're not taking the mark of the beast. You live in a post-rapture world. You're trying to tell everybody to be real honest with them, like, hey, this is what happened. This is some scary stuff. Like, you need to repent right now. You need to not take that mark. And then you got these people like, if I don't take the mark, I can't eat. I can't go to work tomorrow. I can't do none of this. And then it's your job to try to convince them, hey, it'll be okay. God will provide. And and
until they see that you're trying to detour people, and then they're going to go after you, and you're going to have to make a choice.
Correct. Then they're going to start hunting you. And then once they catch you, you're going to have one choice.
2 choices.
Yeah. You can either denounce and tell people God isn't real, or you can die right now.
Yeah, you'd be slaughtered. Head cut off.
And that is the choice, folks. That
That's
is
big. That's big picture thinking, though. Think about it. Oh, can I take it in the moment? Let me think in the moment. Like, well, I need to live. I need to live. It's like, well, I'm kind of screwed if I think like that. Do I think big picture? I don't want to die, but it's like, hey, if I die, then guess what? I'm not really dead anyway. I'll be fine. You know.
so that is the biggest. That to me, when I think about God and all the choices, deny me in front of the world, I'll deny you in front of my Father, right? So if you were literally put in that moment to where somebody's got a gun to your head and they tell you, deny Christ right now or you're going to die. Well, your two choices are you are either denying him in front of the world. Yeah, that he said, give me the big Spider-Man. Here, you can take this. You deny him in front of the world, then he's going to deny you when you get there. It's not over here. Or you die.
Where is it already?
She's got it. Like, imagine though. Like, that's scary in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I believe in my heart of hearts, I 100% in my heart of hearts believe that I would in that moment be like, well, then I have to go. You have to.
Because you know what the other option is. It's like your flesh is like, I have to live. It's just like your instinct. I have to eat. I have to drink. I have to stay alive. Well, that's telling you that. But behind door number one, it's like, yeah, you can pick that, but it's like the end result is you're screwed because once you make that choice, you're screwed. You can't get out of that.
Right.
So it's like, do I want to stay alive but pretty much be screwed forever? Or do I just want to take my lick really quick and be good forever? You know, you have to big picture think. And I mean, most people in that time wouldn't be informed or wouldn't truly believe in that. They're like, well, screw that. That's the easy choice. Like, I'm just going to stay alive. What you mean?
And I believe that's what most people would choose.
Mm-hmm.
And I do. I believe, Brandon, right now, the Holy Spirit's in me. He'll know if I'm lying. Like, he knows what I would do in the moment. I don't. But I believe in my heart of hearts in that moment, I would be like, well, then this is it. And I would smile real big and I would go.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you say no, well, now you have to spend the rest of your life knowing that as soon as you get to the gates, get away from me. I never knew you, you worker of iniquity, is what he's going to say to you because there's nothing you could do at that point. You've made your choice.
Mm-hmm. So now you spend the rest of eternity kicking yourself in the butt. And people don't think
the rest of your human life tormented knowing that you have zero path into heaven.
Yeah, you have no more chances. Like time's ran out. Like the hourglass ran out of sand. Like it's done. And I think that's the thing. Like people who know and they blatantly choose otherwise. Like when reality, because every time I listen to people talk when they get faced with that moment, they're like the reality. Like there's like hopelessness. There's like unmatched hopelessness that you could never understand. Like you could never comprehend in your human body. And they're like you just know instantly. Like nope, I'm done. Like I have no chance. I have nowhere to go. I can't run away. I can't escape. Like I'm here. And I think that's the most demoralizing thing is like when you know and you mess up and you know you don't do what you need to do. It's like that's a really like the definition like of a hopeless feeling that I don't think words could ever describe because there's no I just wait 100 years or wait nope there's no it's just like that example I gave you a while back. It's like it's same kind of thing as like when you're living your life outside of what you need to be doing and you're sitting in this cell and the door's wide open and you can walk out at any point. Outside the cell is living your life where you need to be. In the cell is doing what you want to do. But it's comfortable and you got all your snacks and you got all the stuff you like to do you know is wrong. So it's like, you're not going nowhere. Well, then one day the freaking door shuts when you're not expecting it and it's locked. And the key's gone and you literally cannot get out. So now you have to look out the thing and just realize like, I'm screwed. Like the definition of hopelessness, I could never imagine. Like it's unbearably crazy.
So when you think about it, the atheist, even though I saw something the other day where this guy said atheists don't exist, but here's the way I look at atheists. You know God exists. You feel it in your heart. If I do, you do. That's just reality, right? So I believe the atheists are just people that want to do what they want to do and they don't want to feel bad about it, right? I
They
think
don't
that's
want accountability.
right. I think that's where atheists they're trying to convince themselves it'll be okay because once I die, it's just nothing anyway. Right?
Mhm.
They don't understand the unintended consequences. They think that they could just think it out of existence. That's what an atheist is, right? And an agnostic is the same thing. Like, well, there could be, but
But I
maybe
don't
not.
know.
So I'm not going to worry about it. Well, that's just stupid because you've already admitted that there's probably a chance that it does exist, but not I'm just not going to be safe anyway and just do what I want. And the problem is if you've heard and you still chose not to, you've made a choice. You've willingly said that this isn't for me. And God's cool with that. Like a lot of people understand God's cool with you saying this ain't for me. You don't have to be with me. I get it. You do what you want. Just know that in the end, you can go to place A or place B. And
Mm.
while that's important, this is what you'll get in place A, heaven, and this is what you'll get in place B, hell. But the
Mhm.
reality is, one day you are going to one of these two places,
Yep, and there's no in between.
and no in between. You're going. I can read it in scripture.
Like
That's where
there's
you
no
go.
avoiding it.
There's no avoiding it.
Like you
You will
get to that
stand
fork in the
judgment.
road and you can't go in between. You can't go on the side. Like there's fork in the road. It's one or the other. Like there's no avoiding it.
None whatsoever. So like once you get there though, like all right, so I could think of a lot of scary things, bro. Like I could think of like a clown busting your house, murdering everybody. Like there's a lot of scary things. But could you imagine you've lived your whole life. God doesn't exist, or maybe God exists, but I don't really care because he created me and he knew what he was getting out of this. And you go your whole life living that. And then you come to the moment and you're like, well, I didn't, I kind of felt, and God's like, it doesn't matter how you felt. This is what I told you. Like I didn't hide it. I gave it to you. I gave you the answers. I told you it was going to happen. Told you what you had to do to get there. I made it as easy as saying, I will take the grace. That is it. Like that's where it begins for you. You ask, I want the salvation. That's all you had to do. But you couldn't do it. So that's your place to go now. That's where you have to go. I'm sorry. I gave you a choice. I gave you a chance. I let you do whatever you wanted to do, and this is the choice that you made. I'm sorry. And I think that's how it is because I don't think he takes delight in us
No,
going to hell
he sorrows. Like
because
he
he
doesn't want
loves us.
nobody to. Yeah, but at the same time, he's just, and he
Right.
can't give somebody a pass. And because guess what? If he gives somebody a pass, that means he's not viable to be able to like have proper justice. Like you have to follow through, and God's always gonna follow through because God's not conflicted like that. He just knows, and it's like you get there, and he shows you all these things that you did right and all these things you did wrong, and then I can imagine there's a period in time where you're sitting there probably trying to plead your case.
Yeah.
He's sitting there like listening because I can see him being, patient in that moment because it's time. You're out of time at that point, like timeless, and you're pleading your case. He's like, okay, well, look, like I gave you a platform, not a platform, but I gave you a chance. You had ample opportunity, and he'll probably go back and show you, I would think, said opportunities that you had to do the right thing and you chose not to. And it's like, at that point, it's like, look, there's the stairs or whatever, or dude goes to throw you over the edge or whatever the case may be. Like, I just can't imagine. Like, you think, like, you ever have those instances where your heart drops
Yes.
because reality hits? Imagine the seismic feeling of your heart dropping in that moment because like when you're out of your body, like you literally feel that to like the most extreme of extreme. So you get told like, well, sorry. And you're like, what? And all you can do is take it because you can't fight it. You can't do anything. You get what you reap what you sow.
And the crazy part about that, all that is 100% correct. But the crazy part about that is it's so easy to avoid. You know what I mean? And like, God, I will take your grace. I believe. I'm a true believer. I am a true believer. Like I don't like, the devil puts thoughts in your heads here and there, but not every thought you have is yours. I just want y'all to know that. Not every thought that comes in your head is yours. And then it wants to make you feel bad about you. And then that moment you start hiding from God. Like, oh, I
start doing stuff because you feel like you can't get there. So you start acting out and doing stuff you wouldn't normally do, or things that you might have used to do because you feel like, well, there's no point anyway, so I'm just going to go back to doing what I did, stuff like that.
Well, absolutely. So, the devil puts thoughts in your head, right? And then you're like, oh my God, I thought that. So now I'm going to go hide from God because I thought this terrible thing, right? But in that moment, that's when you need God the most.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, hey, I just thought this terrible thing. Could I not have these thoughts? Help me get away from these thoughts, right? Because what it does is he's trying to drive a wedge between you and God. You did some terrible thinking and God doesn't love you anymore. So, don't even worry about it. To your point a second ago, like, don't even worry about it no more. God doesn't love you anymore because you did this thing. And then that's scary thought, like people talk about the devil, he's a defeated foe, and that is 100% true. But the devil is millions of years older than you, probably. So
he knows everything. He knows everything about you.
Right. He's been watching you since you were little. And he knows everything about the human race. So like he can get to you and put these thoughts in your head. That's why when you think crazy thoughts, you just got to give them to God. Like, hey, this is a crazy thought. Like, I don't want that no more. Like, I promise you I've done that. Like, had some crazy thought in my head, and I'm like, God's listening right now. God, take that from me. Like, take that crazy thought from me, right? And that's the devil. That's the devil in you, like, putting that crazy. Because, like, I'm a normal, viable person. I try to be kind. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love my mama. I go to work. I pay my taxes. I'm a stable individual is what I'm saying. I'm stable. And I've been stable my whole life. So when a crazy thought, comes in my head, like, hey, push this old lady off a cliff, which I've never had that thought, but, just to equate thoughts, I have to tell God, like, take this from me. And I didn't realize it till I heard Philip Anthony Mitchell talking about these thoughts. He said, not every thought that you have is yours. And then it started to make sense to me because I'm like, why would I think like to push an old lady off a cliff? That's crazy. And I don't know why that would even come in my mind. And then it dawned, and I immediately went to God to take that away from me. Then it dawned on me that the devil does have access to your thoughts. He just don't have access to your soul. So
all he has to do is just get separation. If you're separated from God, then he has a sense of control,
right?
Which is all he wants. He just wants you to feel comfortable doing what you want to do. That's all he's got to do. If he gets you there, then he's already done the job. Like, he don't need to do anything else.
Correct. And just my wife. My wife loves me, y'all. I've told everybody who will listen, including you, how I feel like that God gave me my wife. She's made my life better in every single way. She loves me no matter what, even when I have craziness going on, and I come to her, and I've told my wife some crazy things during our marriage. I'm like, this crazy shit, and then she's there for me. And she's like, well, let me help you through the crazy. I've never had that before, y'all. So I gave my life. The Holy Spirit came, snatched me up, brought me back home, and asked me if I wanted to be good again. I said, yes. Well, then all of a sudden, I get with Emily, and we get married, and somebody cares about every little feeling that I have. Like if you never experienced that with your wife or husband, then it's hard for me to explain it to you because I've never had it until her. Hey, I'm feeling kind of bad, because like this hangnail here, and I'm feeling self-conscious. I feel ugly, and well, let's fix it. Let me help you fix it. Like I hate that you feel that way. I'm so sorry. How can we make it better? Like having somebody like that is crazy, But that's what I have. That's what was given to me once I surrendered. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, because every decision I made before my wife was a bad one.
I can definitely attest to that. I've made plenty of bad ones even after, but yeah, I definitely get that.
Yes. And that's like every decision I made was terrible. But after that whole thing happened and I came back to Christ and I surrendered, and then I got my wife. And then all of a sudden, like, not only do I not make bad decisions anymore, I didn't even wanted to. Like when me and my wife got together, and I remember her the first time ever, and like I've told her this before, like I had a feeling. I don't remember what it was because men's mental health matters. And I was like, I told her how I felt about something. This was real early in the marriage, or maybe even before we were married. And I don't even remember exactly what it was, but I remember the instance. And I told her this little feeling, and then she made it important to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, you think my feelings matter? I'm almost 40 years old at that point. Nobody in my entire life has ever made me feel like my feelings mattered. Mm-hmm. Ever. Never. That was a good feeling. And that's just something that happens when you get closer. He'll send the right people to you when you're ready for it. You know what I mean? I'm a true believer in that. Once you have enough mental maturity and spiritual maturity to understand, like, you're going to live for Christ now and you're going to have these battles, I will send the right people to you. But until you're ready for all that, you're just going to go and be with all these people over here that's not right for you, and you're going to learn all these life lessons, and it's my testament. Like, this is real. You know what I mean? And I didn't even know that's what was happening until I started coming closer to God. I started listening to my Bible. I started listening to Philip Anthony Mitchell, and I started doing all these things, and it all started to come together. You got more spiritually mature. You got more emotionally mature. You got more mentally mature into what I was doing. So now I can bless you. I can bless you with a good wife. I can bless you with a good job. I can trust you with it. I can trust you to do right with it. Man, isn't that powerful?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is just, the more you want it, the more you'll learn, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. That's true. The
it
more
is,
you embrace it, the more your responsibility and other things you're given.
Man. Well, I will tell you before we go, I know that you've had a long day, and I literally could do this for hours. So
we have
to work in the morning too. Tell us your verse of the day and what it means to you.
What was it?
1 Peter 5:7.
I think I still have it pulled up on my phone. Hold on. I use my Bible app and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I usually let me go see. 5. Yeah, it's 7, yeah. Yes, it's cast all of your anxiety on him because he cares. Right. So I think, and I look at it even further than just your anxiety, but life can be so rough sometimes, or your whether anxiety in the sense that maybe you're stressed out because financial stress, anxiety maybe in the sense that you're falling into old habits, anxiety in the sense that maybe your marriage isn't going that good. I think everybody gets to the point where it's like you have to let it go. And it's like, because you realize you're really not taking good care of yourself at that point, because anxiety is a bad thing. Like, bad anxiety can really cause a lot of health issues. You can fall into depression. And I think it's being humble in the sense that realizing you have no control and realizing that you've tried to do it your way 1,000,000 times to get rid of this feeling. You can't do that. And realizing that he cares about you so much that you can ask to take this anxiety. You don't know how he's going to fix it, but you know he's going to fix it.
Right.
And I think it's humbling yourself and just being open and saying, you know what, I can't control this. I can't take this anymore. I'm going to give this to you, and I know you'll handle it. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter how it happens. But you're going to take care of it. It might not happen the second. It might not happen tomorrow. It might not happen next week, next month, whatever. But you know It's going to be taken care of. So just stay positive, keep your head up, and he's going to handle it. And that's with anything. That's with anything. Marital issues, sinful habits, bad thoughts. Maybe you're someone who's gluttonous. Maybe you're someone who like spends money too willy-nilly and just blows through your money and puts your family in a hard spot. Just anything. Like stuff like that. Like stuff that you feel like you have no control over. He can take care of it. Whether it makes sense or not. Not in the sense of him being a butler or anything, but in the sense that you acknowledge that he's in control and that you're not. And you saying, I let this go. I'm going to let you have it because I don't want it.
Correct. Make sure he brings his tablet back in here. All right. So it's 100%. So cast all your worries on him, all your anxieties, because he cares for you. Because feelings are powerful. Like we act like they're not. Well, you know, we come up with things like man up and all that stuff. But feelings are powerful. Feelings made David murder his friend. You know, I mean, feelings are a very powerful thing. So that's what he says, cast it on him, because you humans don't do well handling your feelings. So what you need to do is when you start feeling overwhelmed like that, give it to me and I'll take it. It'll be okay. Jesus was a human. He knows how it feels.
He can relate.
He can relate. He knows.
Because he had to battle all the same stuff we battle.
Correct.
Walking around, not trying to look at women, not trying to eat too much, not trying to use bad words, all these things. Like, you had to go through the exact same thing. And I think that's a crazy thing to realize. Like, when you really sit there and you think about it, it's like, wow. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you're not just up there chilling, minding your own business. Like, no, you've been here and you understand what I'm telling you.
Right. He lived it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why that's a powerful verse. I'm glad you chose that one when you sent it to me, and I was like, okay, yeah, I like that, because feelings and men are more emotional than women. We hear all the time that women are emotional. You read it on books.
We're taught to cap that. We're taught to bottle that up. You can't express that.
Right. But we've always heard women are emotional, but men are emotional, bro. Men are emotional. Like, men have murdered entire other countries over a woman. Like, men are real emotional creatures. Like, just playing video games. And video games, I'll be the first to say, video games don't matter at all. Nothing. Video games mean nothing. They're fun, but what do they accomplish? Nothing. Like, you get nothing out of it. It's just a empty time filler, right? That's what it is, and it's fun to play, so you do it. But I will tell you, like, when things don't go my way, like, I be getting mad. Like, I be getting real mad. My wife can attest. She's right here. I'm not lying. Like, I get freaking angry because that's what we have to deal with. That's a stupid emotion, but that's part of the battle. So, like, sometimes, like, I just have to slow myself down, and I've gotten a lot better about it than I used to be, and my wife can attest to that as well. I will slow it down and be like, oh, I can't act like this, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll play it again, or I'll just cut it off because I know that, like, I'm going to get mad and I can't control that. But my wife is right here. She'll attest to it.
Yes, or I put him in timeout.
She'll put me in timeout. But that's why that's such a powerful verse right there. And if I can't control myself playing a little video game that don't matter, then feelings are powerful. I mean, that's just an analogy.
That's true.
Yeah. So for mine, no surprise to anybody who knows me, anybody who's watched Villains or any of that, which I'm assuming are the same people watching this that watch our other ones, 25, 23 people. I appreciate that. Matthew 24:13. Yes. The level of dedication of Matthew 24:13 can be seen right on my neck, right? So why is that important to me? You've heard your whole life. Once saved, always saved. You've heard it. Like, you've got the grace, go do whatever you want. You are free to do whatever you want. I'll see you at home because you believe I exist. Well, Matthew 24:13 puts to bed any of that garbage, that nonsense that you can go and sin all you want and come home because you prayed a prayer one time. Prayer is powerful, but Matthew, and this isn't just my feelings. But this isn't just my feelings. He want me to turn the light on. This is something I can read in Scripture. Those who endure to the end shall be saved. Right? He who endures to the end shall be saved. What that tells you is you cannot just go out there and wild out. I'm saved, so I'm finna go out there and do every sinful thing my heart desires. Like that's not it. Those who endure to the end tells you that nah, bro, you have to rein yourself in, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's changed behavior, and my behavior has changed dramatically since the Holy Spirit and I rebonded about 8 years ago or whatever it was. Like I don't even be wanting to do stupid shit anymore. I really don't. Like I literally just want to go to work, like make money for my company, do right by my employees, come home, do right by my wife and kids, make sure dinner's done, make sure the grass is cut. Like it changed my thinking, right? But when things come about where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go and eat 500 Pop-Tarts a day every day for the next, but that's an example of those who endure to the end, because because I have changed my life. Well, the Spirit changed me, and I don't want to do these stupid wilding out things anymore. When I do have these thoughts of doing stupid things, whatever it may be, that's why he who endures to the end shall be saved is important. It's something that reminds you that you have to stay the course until the day you die. This isn't a one-time commitment. This is a lifestyle change.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done, if you push this button right here, it lights it up. All right. And and it's important, right? So your whole life will change. But these preachers telling you once you have grace, you can go wild out. And that's dangerous ideology, because Matthew 24:13, this is tattooed on my neck for me. I mean, if anybody who reads it, I can tell them about it, and that's important. But it's tattooed here for me to remind me every time I look in the mirror. Like, no matter how far away you're feeling, no matter how insignificant you're feeling, no matter how bad your day was, Jesus still loves you, and you still owe that to him. That's what this reminder is right here. And that's why Matthew 24:13, anytime anybody wants to talk about a scripture, that's the first one I want to talk to, because it's impacted me personally so much.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So, but next week I will choose a different one. I think we'll have fun like this for the show, and then do a scripture, a piece at the end. I like the way that kind of felt. I like, you know what I mean? So I'm good with doing that. So next week I will have a different one, which means I have to do some homework. It's really good though, doing homework for the Lord. But that was a fun show, man. I think that was probably my most favorite show that we've had during Divine Battleground.
Mm-hmm. Probably will be changing the name though, guys.
Yeah, we will be changing the name. It worked for before, but it just don't feel right to me, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. We'll put our heads together. We'll come up with something and have a brand new flashy toy to show off. So
yeah, and this is a show that Brandon really wanted to get back into. I won't go into the details of our conversation that we had, but it's important that we got back into this. He felt convicted, and to be honest, so did I. So I really want to do the show, but I'm not gonna, like, if it ever comes about where Brandon has to work or late or whatever, I might. But I really didn't want to do the show without Brandon, because this was our show together.
Give me down.
This was our brainchild. This wasn't my brainchild. This wasn't his brainchild. This is just something we were talking about, and then we decided, hey, I think we should do this. So now that things are freeing up a little bit, and we're feeling convicted a little more, I like, this is going to be something that we do. But he's right. We'll be changing the name. We'll come up with something.
Yep.
Which means the graphics will be different and the intros will be different. But
so just don't be alarmed. Just when you go to search, just just stay followed to the page. The name will just be different. Just pay attention to what the name is in case you need to search for it, but you'll figure it out. It won't be anything crazy.
Correct. And we'll tell you on the shows, on all the shows on the Villains Media Network, what you know, once we get some more information about what we'll do, we'll be like, hey, Divine Battleground is now blah blah blah. Check it out.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Blah, blah,
So
blah,
well,
blah, blah.
yeah, now he's going blah blah blah. Kids listen. So before we go, that's something I want to point out. So
Even
I
younger
already
than that.
talking, and I just said and blah blah blah. Well, now he's repeating blah 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 out of all the things. So if you say one thing around them, they remember it. Boy, they be using it.
You
later
gotta be
too.
careful too, because my youngest, he does that. You gotta be careful what you say, because
I will tell you a funny story, and this is a true story. So I play Assassin's Creed. Then we'll go because it's getting late. I was playing Assassin's Creed, and so my boy's beside me, and he's got his phone. Not thinking nothing about it. I'm, just doing these things. And so I take him to my mama's the next day. And because I have to work. So I drop him off at mom's. And I go and pick him up when I got off. And I get there, and he tells my mom the most curious story. He tells my mom, Daddy was hiding in the bushes. And he was whistling at this woman. Now, that's what he tells my 70-year-old mama, 67-year-old mama. And she came over to the bushes, and Daddy stabbed her in the butt cheeks. Now, what he saw was on Assassin's Creed, you go into the bushes and you can whistle. And then the people come over and then you can kill them, right? That's how you get through the stage. Well, he's watching me and just women warriors. So I'm in the bushes. I whistle. The woman comes over. I kill her. But he tells my mom that he was hiding in the bushes, whistled at a woman, and when she got over there,
storytelling,
stabbed her in the butt cheeks.
Selective storytelling.
Yeah, but kids are paying attention is the point of the story.
Yeah, when you don't think they are, they are.
Yes, you got to be careful.
All the time.
Imagine if he'd have went to like preschool or something, went and told the teacher, my daddy was hiding in the bushes, whistled at a woman and stabbed her in the butt cheek. Well, the FBI's coming to my door. And I have to explain to him it's a video game. And they're like, well, we're going to just do some research anyway. But that's all the time we have today. I got to get ready to bed. I got to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yay me.
Ow. It hurts.
It hurts. Oh, I love you. All right. But any last words?
No, just tune in next week. New feel, new vibe. It'll be fun.
Yep. Thank you all. Matthew 24:13.